Harvey Shaw here. I'm stuck in the car. It's about an hour drive. I'm making the drive north to hold space for the shamanic healing circle that I'm trying to get up off the ground, facilitating. So it's an hour each way. I'm here in the car, and I got community on my mind. I know I recently made a video about community, but it's just really, really, really on my heart. It's so strong. And I think a lot of it has to do with just everything that's going on. You know, we just went through Hurricane Harvey here in Texas a couple weeks ago. Still recovering from that. I'm in the Austin, Texas area, but a lot of my friends grew up in Houston, have family still in Houston. So there's a very strong connection between Austin and Houston. Houston's about actually 140 miles away from Austin, but strong connection, strong roots and ties, and you know, so we felt it here in Austin, and I know that we together as a community really tried to collaborate in helping out our neighbors over in Houston. So that's been on my mind, you know, Hurricane Harvey. Today Irma hit Florida, and so there's just so much going on. The fires and you know, earthquakes, and basically a lot of wars and rumors of wars, as the Bible talked about in these interesting times that we're living in. And you know, whether you believe the Bible or not is your business, but you know, the book of Revelation and even Jesus himself, you know, in the Gospels, talked a lot about the end times, whatever the end actually is or looks like. But he talked about it being like birth pains, you know, on a laboring woman. And so, you know, I don't know if it's going to be the end, or we're just in this process of birthing something completely new and different. And either way, you know, these times are rough, and you know, they call it labor for a reason, because it's hard work. And we're really being asked to step up to the plate. And I'm not saying this to sort of fearmonger or, you know, put fear in people's hearts, but I just have been feeling this strong calling for a few years now to really focus on community, because I think, you know, when the shit hits the fan, so to speak, community, I mean, as we have seen with Hurricane Harvey, it means all the difference in the world between, you know, drowning or surviving. And so community is important. It really, really is important. But even more than that, like I've really been overwhelmed lately with the digital age that we live in. You know, it's just overwhelming. You know, keeping up with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, and oh my gosh, you know, I subscribe to probably, I don't know, 60, 70 people on YouTube, maybe, I'm guessing, and I just can't. There's some people that are like prolific, you know, content creators. I can't keep up with y'all. I mean, it's overwhelming as it is, just even the comments, and it's overwhelming. You know, the emails, I mean, I alone have probably 5 different email accounts, all for different things, different purposes, and just keeping up with it all, you know, and the articles that I like to read for my own personal, you know, growth and development, and it's overwhelming. It's completely overwhelming. And I feel like, you know, the digital age that we're in, it's sort of like, it's distracting us, and it's really like sucking the life out of us in a sense, and I'm getting a lot out of it, and you know, so I'm not saying that, gosh, I've met people, you know, online, mostly through Facebook, that I probably would have never, ever met prior to the internet, so I'm grateful for it, but it does consume so much of life, so much attention and focus. And I feel like it's really distracting us from building community locally. And, you know, times are going to get harder. They just are. On many different levels. Natural disasters is just one level. Economically, just on so many different levels. It's going to get harder. And, you know, these friends that you've made online that, you know, are really cool, that live on the other side of the country, you know, that live in different countries, you know, you might talk to these people every day, and you might really have a strong bond, and you're really creating this, you know, beautiful thing online. But the truth of it is, when the shit hits the fan, there's nothing that those people are going to be able to do to help you. And, you know, it might be so bad that the internet goes down, you know, we lose our ability to communicate. The cell towers might go down, or I don't even know, you know, I'm just speculating on different scenarios that can happen. And, you know, in those moments, as the people from Hurricane Harvey experienced, the local community, those people with the boots on the ground or the boats in the water or whatever it is, those are the ones that make the difference in those moments of your life. And so in that sense, like everything else, all those other people and all that digital stuff and online stuff, it just sloughs off. It doesn't even matter in that instant. It doesn't even matter, you know? And so that's what's on my heart. That's what's on my mind. And like I said, I know I've made a video about this before, but you know, as I'm taking this drive back and forth, an hour each way to try to build community, you might be asking, you know, why am I not trying to build community where I live, in my community? Why do I need to drive an hour away? Well, because I'm a healer, and so I'm going into the areas where I feel most called, where I feel the most need, where there's a lack. And, you know, I feel like I can be of the most use and am needed the most. So I'm making that hour-long drive, because that's definitely not in my little local community. There is things that I can do and am doing in my local community, and in the larger community in Austin, you know, but there's some hurting folks, you know, and it requires me to get in my car and spend an hour driving, and I'm willing to do it. So that's why. And, you know, really I'm just facilitating community building for folks. Another thing that I want to say before I stop this video is back in February, Matt Kahn had a teaching that really resonated with me. I listened to it in the car. That's why I remember it was in February, because I was on a road trip, and it was one of my, so far, favorite teachings of Matt's. He taught it at a time when the political hyperbole was sort of at its peak, and, you know, people were just going mad. They were going crazy, you know, because, you know, President Trump had just been inaugurated or whatever, and people were just crazy. They were going crazy, acting crazy, and, you know, some of that still is happening, but it was really bad. It was pretty intense. And he talked about in his teaching, you know, how if it doesn't really come into your field, then it doesn't really exist. And, you know, that's not to say that, say, like, for instance, the people that suffered in Hurricane Harvey, you know, the survivors and that are going through it now, as I speak, in Hurricane Irma, it's not to say that they're not experiencing something real, because they are in their life at that moment, at that point in time, in their consciousness. They are experiencing it, there's no doubt. But for me, myself, sitting in my car, driving, you know, an hour away from my home, I am not experiencing it. I'm hearing about it. So this does make it somewhat of a rumor. It doesn't mean that it's untrue. It just means it's not something that I need to worry about. And so if you're really an empathic person, and you really have this connection to people, this sense of compassion and empathy for people and what they're going through and their suffering and their needs, you know, you may come to a time really quick where you're going to need to just completely unplug and distance yourself from all digital and social medias. And it's not that you're burying your head in the sand, and you don't really need to feel guilty about it. It's more that, and it's not apathy either. See, that's the thing. People will have you believe that you're just being apathetic, that you don't care. There comes a point where you can only do so much, and you're doing everything that you can do, and sometimes you need to just unplug and put that energy that you have, that drive, that desire, you know, that empathic qualities that you have, to put them to work in your local community. you know, where you can really have your boots on the ground and make the difference in people's lives, you know. So I just want to encourage you that you may need to unplug, and that's okay, and I'm considering it myself. You know, I'm just evaluating how much do I really need to be on YouTube? How much do I really need to be on Facebook? God, Twitter, I can't even try to keep up with Twitter. How much do I really need? You know, all these social media accounts, all these emails, you know, and how important is that really? You know, I don't know. You know, I don't know. So I just invite you to also consider that, and consider the ways that you're building community and connection locally where you're at, in the ways that it's really going to make a difference for other people, and especially also for yourself, you know, in times of crisis or in times of need. So, and everything else that's happening outside of your circle, it really is just a rumor, and you really don't need to concern yourself about it too much, you know. So thanks as always for watching, and I love you guys. Have a great day.